Have you ever thought what goes into Old Forester? What's behind it? Who's the maker of it? And who came up with this 1924 version that everybody's wanting? Well, if so, stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Booze. I'm so glad to be here. I don't know if any of you know this, or some of you may if you watch the channel, but I'm a huge Old Forester fan. In fact, Old Forester, other than Jack Daniel's, is probably my favorite distillery, and it is one that I grew in love with quite early on. Old Forester has always been a standby for me, and I have tried to collect as many Old Foresters as I can, and so this is what I have currently in the bar. And I have just been enamored by everything about Old Forester, the flavor profiles, the availability mostly, and the cost. So let's talk about Old Forester. Old Forester comes from the Brown-Forman distillery, Brown-Forman Corporation. It is one of the largest corporate-owned spirits and wine companies in the world. Its history intertwines with that of the Old Forester, one of its most iconic whiskey brands, and new brands that are out there, and several other old brands, notably Jack Daniel's. It was founded by George Garvin in 1870 in Louisville, Kentucky. Originally, it was for pharmaceuticals, so, snake oil medicines and stuff like that. But it shifted to whiskey and soon became a distillery. Brown-Forman found early success with the creation of Old Forester. And I don't know that I have the flagship 80 proof up here. I think I drank that. But it is considered as America's first bottled bourbon. Before that, you had to get your bourbon in barrels for your establishments, and then you sold it out of the barrel. And Old Forester became the first, or is considered the first bottled bourbon. This was significant because it allowed for greater availability to the public. Over the years, Brown-Forman expanded its portfolio beyond Old Forester, acquiring and developing various other brands, including Jack Daniel's, which is my favorite distillery. Not necessarily my favorite whiskey, but my favorite distillery. Woodford Reserve, another fine whiskey and brandy, whiskey and bourbon. Finlandia vodka, which you would think is kind of from Finland, and why would Brown-Forman own it? But they own Finlandia vodka and a bunch of other things. Its global outreach grew in exporting its products to over 170 countries. So it is one of the largest American-owned spirits and wine companies today. In 1870, George Garvin Brown introduced Old Forester, named after Dr. William Forster, a prominent Louisville physician who endorsed it. So that's how it got its name. It was the first bourbon to be sold exclusively in sealed glass bottles, as I mentioned. During the Prohibition era, Brown-Forman managed to keep Old Forester alive by securing a permit to continuing producing it for medical purposes. And there was only six permits issued by the U.S. government during Prohibition to distilleries to produce medicinal whiskey, which isn't all whiskey medicinal. So this allowed it to maintain its presence legally. And I think Jack Daniel's closed down, so it did not acquire one of those permits. Brown-Forman at this time also purchased, Old Forester, purchased lots of stock from other distilleries that had been forced to close. And so they were able to take that stock, and they actually blended that stock with their Old Forester in various manners. And that's how they came up with what's called the 1924 Old Forester. Originally, there was a 1924 Old Forester originally, and it was a blended whiskey. And so this is in honor of that whiskey. Has been known for Old Forester has been known for its consistency and quality throughout history. I've never really come across a bad Old Forester. Now, I haven't tried the 1924, so we're going to find out in just a minute. It is also credited with many innovations in bourbon production, setting standards for the entire industry. It is really almost the OG of whiskey. Today, Brown-Forman Corporation continues to thrive as a leading player in the global spirits market, with Old Forester remaining one of the flagship brands beloved by whiskey enthusiasts worldwide, including me. If it says Old Forester on it, I want to get it. I am actually going to Louisville in just a few weeks, and Old Forester will be on my bucket list to visit, and maybe I can get some of those distillery only and experimentals that I have yet to get. So what other brands did we talk about? We did talk about Jack Daniel's, Woodford Reserve, Finlandian vodka, El Humidor tequila. They bring that tequila in, and just a bunch of really cool stuff. But also wine. They do Sonoma wine and cocktail mixes, liqueurs, champagne, Corbel sparkling champagne, and lots of cool stuff. So let's talk about, well, first of all, let's talk about the collection here. I do like to find Old Forester wherever I can. And I've thought about experimenting with some blends of my own. There's always the famous 1915 blend where we mix a 1920 and a 1910 together. I have yet to do that, but I really think that because of its popularity, Old Forester should seriously think about doing that and marketing. But we have their rye here, which is probably my 8th bottle of 100 proof rye. I keep getting this and drinking, and you can see it's almost gone. It's one of the best ryes. It's 100 proof, one of the best ryes for me. Their 100 proof bourbon. This is batch 1 of the King Ranch. I did like this. I'm not disappointed with it at all, but it really wasn't something that I felt met the hype of the King Ranch at $89. But now we're talking secondary market quite a bit. Actually, this one was only $79. Batch 2 that came out went to $89. And you would be hard pressed to find that in this MSRP anywhere. We have the single barrel strength Thompson's and Big Boy's Pick. I could not find the blue label anywhere. I actually had to have a friend get this for me because in Texas this was almost non-existent, or they were snapped up right away. This is the single barrel rye strength that I also had a friend gift me, and I was very happy with that. I do like this one quite a bit. But again, these two, and there's a black label too, I believe. These two are very hard to find, and therefore I'm not looking to drink them right away because I'm not going to be able to replace them, at least for a while, unless I can get them at the distillery. Of course, we do have the birthday bourbon. I won this in a Total Wines lottery. If you don't participate in point systems and lotteries to get your stuff at MSRP, you really should think about doing that. And this is last year's, the 2023 birthday bourbon. I think it's the 23. Should say on there. No, it's the 2022 birthday bourbon. And I do really, really enjoy this. I think it's worth the hype, but not necessarily worth too much more than MSRP. I think MSRP is like $150 or something. One of my favorite, all-time favorite Old Foresters, and I don't think it gets enough love, but it probably is one of my favorite, is the Statesman, and that was done for that movie, what is it, The Kingsman, I believe. I think the Statesman is absolutely spot on, fabulous. Of course, we have their year series. We have the 1870, the year that Old Forester was founded. We have the 1897 Bottled and Bond. That's the year that the United States created the Bottled and Bond Act, and that was to prevent the snake oils that probably Brown-Forman participated in. Who knows? If you're Brown-Forman or if you're at Old Forester, you can definitely let me know, but I don't think anybody would actually fess up to that. And if you are not familiar with the term snake oil, that was when people were creating medicinal things for hair loss or cancer or whatever. They said it did everything. And usually it was more poisonous than not. It was distilled alcohol with, I don't know, some sort of coloring. And they get the name snake oil because many times out west it would have rattlesnake poison put in it to help kind of with some of the, I don't know, hallucinogenic power, so to speak. Then we have the 1910 whiskey, and it just escapes me what the 1910 is for. So make sure you leave those comments in below, down below. I will try to remember that hopefully by the end of the video, but it just completely escaped me, and I don't have it up on my teleprompter there. And then, of course, the 1920. This is the Prohibition style whiskey. All fabulous. I think my favorite is the 87, the Bottled and Bond. I'm sorry, 97. But we're here to look at this, the 1924 10-year-old. Now, this is a different mash bill than the rest of these. All of these have various degrees of aging and flavor profiles and stuff. But the traditional mash bill is mostly going to be corn and rye. This is, I believe, 79% corn, 11% rye, and the remaining, 6% or something of malted barley. And so it's a little bit outside of the traditional Old Forester mash bill. It is also a blend. Now, everything that I have seen, I've heard many stories about this. It is a 10-year too, by the way. Let's see if I can get this fully open. And it does run at 100 proof. And I have heard a lot of stories of this. This is in commemoration of the 100-year anniversary of them securing their Prohibition license. Okay, it does say bottled by Old Forester Bottling. It is sourced then. So these are some of the rumors I've heard. Their webpage and press release doesn't indicate that it's sourced. But of course, you don't really want to advertise that you're sourcing. But I believe it's a blend of Old Forester with something, I almost want to say Jim Beam, but I could be wrong. I've heard so many rumors on this. But if you have contribution to that kind of topic and you want to add what you think it's blended with, or if you happen to know, you can put it in there. The company doesn't say, so I'm pretty sure that it's all non kind of, you can't get the truth about it, but I could be wrong. There's a lot more people out there that probably know more than me. There's a lot of people, but go ahead and leave those comments. It's a little heavy on the rye. Excuse me. Very tasty aroma. Chocolatey. Definitely sweet. Definitely a high corn. Vanilla. Ooh, that rye's kind of now rye's kind of getting me. It drinks hotter. Whoa, it drinks a lot hotter than 100 proof. This is really good. I, in blind tasting, would almost say this is a rye whiskey, and it's not. This is very, very tasty. Very tasty. It's got that sweetness of vanilla, a little caramel. There's hints of tobacco. There's some sort of oh, kind of a pear, but more sweet on the nose or on the palate. I don't know a lot about uh, fruit varieties. I never was a fruit person until recently. I've been eating lots of apples, and of course, I do love grapes, so I eat grapes. But as far as oranges and kiwis and stuff like that, pears, I'm not a big fan of fruits, so I don't eat a lot, or I wasn't. I'm starting to, trying to get more healthier in my life. But because of its sweet, oh wow, mint right there, punch in the nose. Because of my limited idea of what um, fruits taste like, this is very sweet. And I know it's the corn, but there's a fruit in there. I would say I don't know, maybe a kiwi or a dark, that kind of a those small oranges. What are they called? It is. This is fabulous. I'm gonna up my game on fruit so I can identify this. Now, because it's such a powerful punch on that rye, and it drinks stronger than a 100 proof, I would definitely probably like to have this in an old fashioned, a little cooling with ice, make it a little bit more palatable for me. 110 is about as high as I really like. And this drink's heavy to me, or hot. So I don't know, but tell us what you think. Now, the price of this, I believe, is right around $69, $79. But it's going for well over that. I actually had a friend pick this up for 100, and so I was very happy with that. I thought that was a good deal. Um, but all of these here are in the $40 to $60 range, and I believe this is supposed to be the same. But because everybody's going crazy, it is a 10-year, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. People are snatching these up like crazy. My friend said that he had to wait at a liquor store, and the guy came out with a box and just started handing them to people who were in line. He was lucky enough to get one for himself and one for me. So, yeah, hopefully the hype goes down. But I am interested in anything you have to say. Let those comments flow below. Obviously, you can correct me if I said something wrong about Brown Forman or about Old Forester or about the 1924. Just make sure that you are civil about it and nice about it. I am seeing a little bit more of the not hate, snarkiness on the channel. Tomorrow we're going to do coffee. I haven't picked it yet, but I hope it's a good one for you. I still get more comments about coffee than anything else. So if you are a coffee drinker, make sure you tune in for tomorrow. We did a 3-year stint of coffee and stopped for just over a year. And now we're going to start it back up because there's been such a demand for it. So check out coffee. Thursday, we should have a whiskey. There's been some issues in getting fully back into swing of 4 episodes a week or 5 episodes a week. We did a really good start last 2 weeks ago, but last week we kind of had a 1-day stumble, 2-day stumble. And so hopefully we can get back into the swing, and this is our week. I know it. But make sure you do share the love, hit that like and subscribe. It means so much to us. Check out Instagram and Facebook. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I'm not a Threads or X fan. I just got a sour taste in my mouth from all of the politics and then the whole change of business practice and ownership of that. And I'm starting to get that with TikTok too. While I like to watch some TikTok videos and most of my family is into TikTok, I'm really starting to get a very sour taste with TikTok and not liking it as much. But so I don't know that I'll be posting to TikTok for a while. We'll see about that. Obviously, with the news going on, TikTok may not be available for us for a while or much longer. I don't know. I mean, there's always ways around that. But yeah, tell us your thoughts on that whole social media. It's just social media is starting to be almost a problem. And so I'd like to, well, it's always a problem, but I'd like to kind of tune that out. So just check out Facebook and Instagram. I hope you have a great week. It's been rainy, but the hot weather's coming in. Hopefully you're staying dry where you are, or at least enjoying some cool spring weather, because I know here and elsewhere it's starting to get hot. All right, guys, 1924. Make sure you leave those comments. Remember, there's no bad whiskey. There's only good whiskey and great whiskey. And I'm going to have to chop this up to being great whiskey. I like the 1924. Cheers.